जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी गिरिधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी गिरिधारी। यशोदानंदन यशोदानंदन ब्रज नंदन यमुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज नंदन यशोदानंदन ब्रज नंदन यमुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन नंदन यमुनतीरावनचारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा नाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रहे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्य देवाय नमो नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गौ ब्राह्मणाहिताय च जगद्हिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। वक्रम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे हे गिरिं वारणं चैतन्य ईश्वरं परमानन्दमाधवम्। ओम पवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थां गतोऽपि वा यत्स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं साभ्याभ्यन्तरं सुचेत्। श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु। हरे कृष्णा प्रभुजी सर माता जी standat pranam. How is everyone doing?
Super, Prabhuji.
Thank you Prabhuji.
Dandavat
Yeah,
pranam.
yeah, dandat pranam.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandat pranam Mataji. First of all, thank you very much Shilpa Mataji. Though it was not a scheduled program from my end, but you made me to speak few words on Bhagavatam today. Thank you very much for that, for giving the opportunity. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Lavesh Prabhuji, how are you? Okay. Madhavi Reddy Mataji, yeah. Vihanga Madhavi Mataji. I think I have two. Hare Krishna, Lavesh Prabhuji. I think I have two god sisters with the name Madhavi. My own sister's name was Madhavi. So there are two Madhavis with inclusion of Vihanga Madhavi Mataji here. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the session. And we have Madhu Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Madhu Prabhuji. Dandat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Santoshayate Prabhu. Thank you very much for all the help, Prabhuji. Santoshayate Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Satyadev Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam.
Yeah, Dandat Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Sri Hari Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thanks. Thank you all the Prabhujis and Matajis for joining this session. Thank you very much. Very nice DP, Sri Hari Prabhu. Thank you. Very nice, nice photo. Yeah. So, today's Bhagavatam session is about, the characteristics of Rishabhadev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here, I think in the last session, Subhara Prabhuji and Giriraj Prabhuji has given the session where Rishabhadev was born. And the last session, these are the agenda of our today's session. What we have today is to cover 12 slokas, that is from 8 slokas to 19 sloka. 8 slokas to 19 slokas. And we'll be having a quick recap of the 4th chapter till 7 slokas, what Subhara Prabhuji has completed last week. And primarily, the discussion was happening between Sukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj on the characteristics and glories of Rishabhadev. So this discussion mainly happens between these two great personalities. So describing the Rishabhadev's qualities, and the next is a very important chapter where Rishabhadev's teachings would be given to the 100 of his sons. So mainly today's session, we are going to divide into again 5 sections. So today's as the chapter says, so already the main sections were covered in the 4th chapter by Subhara Prabhuji last week. So now the only section which is left is about Rishabhadev's qualities. So that would be divided into 5 sections. First sections would be covering Lord Rishabhadev's perfect brahmachari and grihastha life. And subsection 2 would be covering Shloka 9 to 13, that is Lord Rishabhadev's sons, who are they, and all details. And Shloka 14 to 15 would be covering the Rishabhadev's qualities and activities, followed by the common man. And subsection 4 would be containing Shloka 16 to 18. He followed the instructions of Brahmanas. When Lord Rishabhadev used to follow the instructions of Brahmanas, there are not very lengthy purports in this section, but there are some effective purports, though short one, but very good purports provided by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. And the last subsection would be of at Brahma Vrata, and how Lord Rishabhadev instructed his sons. Okay, that's the thing what we'll be covering in this section. Now, so the first section, as we mentioned, would be the Lord exhibiting the qualities of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Supreme Father, and named Lord Rishabha. The ministers wanted to rule. The ministers wanted Lord Rishabha to rule the planet. And these are already covered, but there's a quick recap where Indra becomes, and after, as usual, we know there are a lot of pastimes where Indra has become envious of him not knowing that the personality there was none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he with his enviousness, umpteen number of times we have seen he becoming envious. And in the last week's session where Madhusudan Vishnu Prabhu has taken the session, also covered a bit about pastimes involving Indra and his nature. So yeah, he stops rain, and how the Rishabhadev, being Supreme Personality of Godhead, ensures that the ministers or the kingdom, whatever the kingdom he is ruling, the kingdom is not affected due to the absence of rains. So that's what he takes care of. So it goes and continues, and in the bliss, how the king raises his son with transcendental affection. And the details were covered by Subhara Prabhuji nicely, where how though a material desire, how the Supreme Personality of Godhead was satisfied with his, austerity of performing yajnas and God himself as his son. And being popular and able to protect the citizens, Rishabha is enthroned. So he was got the kingdom. So glories of Navi, the father of the Lord and a worshipper of Brahmanas, he attains Vaikuntha. Sorry. So after doing all the pastimes, the father of the Lord and the worshipper of Brahmanas, he attains Vaikuntha. So King Navi successfully reaches the Vaikuntha Lokas with the kind of austerities he performed, and he did to the kingdom, and he got Supreme Personality of Godhead himself as his son in the form of Rishabhadev. So that was the quick recap done in the last time what Subhara Prabhuji has given. So now in today's session, as we discussed, so we'll be mainly touching upon the qualities of Rishabdev. So today we are going to start with 8th sloka and end by 19th sloka. There are only very few 12 slokas in today's session what we'll be going through. So the first sloka says, Atah Bhagavan Rishabdeva Swavarsham Karma Kshetram Anumanyamaanah Pradarshita Gurukula Vaso Labdha Varai Gurubhir Anugyato Gurhamedinam Dharmanam Anusikshamano Jayantyam Indra Dattayam Ubhaya Lakshanam Karma Samamnayam Manitam Abhiyugnanan Atmajanam Atma Samananam Satam Janayam Asha. So yeah, if you observe these slokas, these are not in the usual format what we see, like 2 lines, then 2 lines, like that it is not divided. So the translation goes something like this. After Nabhi Maharaj departed from Badrikashram, the Supreme Lord Rishabhadev understood that his kingdom was his field of activities. He therefore showed himself as an example and taught the duties of householder by first accepting brahmacharya under the direction of spiritual master. He also went to live at the spiritual master's place, Gurukula. After his education was finished, he gave gifts as Guru Dakshina to his spiritual masters and then accepted the life of householder. He took a wife named Jayanti and begot 100 sons who were as powerful and qualified as he himself. His wife Jayanti had been offered to him by Indra, the king of heaven. Rishabdev and Jayanti performed householder life in an exemplary way, carrying out ritualistic activities ordained by the Shruti and Smriti Shastras. So again, this particular shloka or this particular subsection shows that any citizen who is serious in spiritual life is expected to follow this 2 lives. Once when I have personally seen, not in India much, not much associated with brahmacharis that much as I was associated with brahmacharis when I was in Stockholm, wherein the college going kids or schooling post they finish their primary education, they take brahmachari ashram and they spend significant time in the brahmachari ashram, say minimum to 4 to 5 years they spend brahmachari ashram, and even after that they have a choice to stay in brahmachari ashram or they can take grihastha ashram. So that choice would be always there, and that's what even Rishabdev also shows. We need to have brahmachari ashram, and with the kind of current environment we have, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to to see this kind of a culture in India, but there are some places in India also, though very minimal in number, where the people follow this kind of a culture where they have brahmachari ashram. They spend a significant time in brahmachari ashram, and then the devotee would be having a choice whether to stay in brahmachari ashram and or can shift to grihastha ashram. So like that, I have personally seen, as I said, in Stockholm, like, I have Mitra Mishra Prabhu in Stockholm. We have, so like that, I have 2 to 3 brahmacharis whom I know as personally, and even the Matajis whom they got married to, they used to stay in a farm community in Stockholm, and every Saturday we used to do Harinam. And after 1.5 years of stay there, when I came back here, they after 2 years of my departure from Stockholm, couple of Prabhujis there, they got married, or they got into Grihasthashram. So that was the culture there. So it's very rare to see now. But even if you see here also, I mean, I personally have seen, I mean, Tara Krishna Prabhu in our Gachibowli Satsang, or in our ISKCON circle, whom I know personally, I have seen him as a brahmachari also, and he has chosen to take Grihasthashram. So that's what Rishabhdev has shown to the general populace also, to follow this kind of a culture. So that's what we see. So we should have ideally brahmachari ashram and then get into a grihastha ashram if possible. So that's what Rishabhdev has shown. So if we see the purport, anyone interested to read the purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Please,
Dandavat
Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Please, Mataji.
Being an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rishabhdev had nothing to do with material affairs. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam, the purpose of an incarnation is to liberate his devotees and to stop the demonic activities of non-devotees. These are the 2 functions of the Supreme Lord when he incarnates. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that in order to preach, one must live a practical life and show people how to do things. Apani achari bhakti shikhaiho sabare. One cannot teach others
Is it a problem from my end, or everyone is not able to hear Padma Mataji?
I think we are not able to hear Padma Mataji, Prabhu.
Yeah.
He behaves the same way himself. Rishabhdeva was an ideal king, and his education in the Gurukula, although you can't hear? No?
Yes, we are able to
Hello?
hear now, we are able to hear now, Mataji. I think for some time we could not hear. That's okay, Mataji. Go ahead. We are able to hear now.
Okay, shall I start from the beginning?
No. Beginning we heard, Mataji. Only in the middle, from one cannot teach others unless after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One cannot teach others unless he behaves the same way himself. Rishabhdeva was an ideal king, and he took his education in the Gurukula, although he was already educated because the Supreme Lord is omniscient. Although Rishabhdeva had nothing to learn from Gurukula, he went there just to teach the people in general how to take an education from the right source, from Vedic teachers. He then entered household life and lived according to the principles of Vedic knowledge, Shruti and Smriti. In his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.10, Srila Rupa Goswami, quoting the Skanda Purana, states, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpata Eva Kalpate. Human society must follow the instructions received from Shruti and Smriti Vedic literature. Practically applied in life, this is worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to the Pancharatrika Vidhi. Every human being must advance his spiritual life and at the end return home back to Godhead. Maharaja Rishabhdev strictly followed all these principles. He remained an ideal Grihastha and taught his sons how to become perfect in spiritual life. These are some examples of how he ruled the earth and completed his mission as an incarnation. Hare
Yes.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. So yeah, I mean, if you see here, that's what Lord, it's not only Gurukula. I mean, we have seen Krishna also in his pastimes 5,000 years back. He has done all the duties. It's not that he doesn't know. We have seen he going to his Gurudev Sandeepan Muni ashram. So like that, whenever Lord incarnates, he shows us on how to follow. So that's what he teaches, and that's what he has been shown here also by Lord Rishabhadev as well. Okay, so a quick question to everyone. I think everyone knows Rishabhadev got married to whom? What's her name?
Jayanti.
Jayanti. I think everyone knows, I believe, who is the father of Jayanti, right? Everyone knows who is the father of Jayanti? Maharani? I'm not going to, it's not going to be a one way. So I request to answer. I think everyone knows, right? Who is the father of Jayanti Maharani?
I don't know, Prabhuji.
Mataji, it's mentioned in the shloka, Mataji. Here it is. His wife Jayanti had been offered to him by Indra, the king
Indra.
of heaven. Okay, so the Rishabdev got married to Jayanti Maharani, who is daughter of Indra. Now, the question is, who is Jayanti's mother's, what is Jayanti's mother's name? Any guesses? I think only Vanilla Mataji can answer if she is there. Yeah, tell me, Mataji.
Shachi Mataji.
Yes, who was that?
Deepa.
Deepa Mataji, okay. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, that is right. Shachi Rani is the Shashi Rani or Indrani, we can say, is the mother of Jayanti Maharani, who was given to Rishabdev in marriage. Okay, so that was the first subsection. Now, the second subsection is about qualities. Already qualities is over. Now, second section is about, how Rishabdev was, how Rishabdev, who were Rishabdev's sons. So, Lord Rishabdev's sons, who were they? So, that's what we discuss in subsection 2. Okay, now, since everyone knows that Rishabdev got 100 sons, can anyone mention what are the main occupation or the distribution of the main occupation of these 100 sons? Who already know about the pastimes of Rishabdev, can they guess? No need to check. Can they guess what are the high-level occupation? Like, were anyone Vaishyas, were anyone Kshatriyas, were anyone, how many of them were Brahmanas, like that? What is the occupation? Yeah, go ahead.
90 were Brahmanas, Prabhuji. 9 were, I don't remember, 90 plus 9 plus 1. 1 is Bharat Maharaj.
Okay, 90. What is the breakup you said? 90 plus?
9 plus 1, I think.
90 plus 1 plus 9. No, Mataji, that is not the breakup.
Or 89 plus 10 plus 1.
No, Mataji.
No.
No. Yeah. Since I prepared, I can tell, but I know it doesn't mean that you don't know Mataji, and I know, but I just wanted to make everyone, be there. And any other answers? Any other breakup? Okay. So the breakup is 9 plus 10 plus 81. That is the breakup. 9 sons were Mahabhagavatas. In that, 9 were Mahabhagavatas and 10 were Brahmanas, and rest of the 10 were Kshatriyas and rest of the 80 were Brahmanas. So there is a difference, Mahabhagavatas and Brahmanas. Okay. So I repeat, 9 were Mahabhagavatas and 10 were Kshatriyas and rest of the 80 were Brahmanas. So that was the breakup. Okay. So here among this 9 to 13 shlokas, what this subsection contains, Lord Dev's sons, subsection 2, which talks about Lord Rishabhdev's sons and the occupation what they follow. So there are, though, despite there are 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, sorry, 5 shlokas in this particular subsection, I have chosen these two sections which I felt which are important in this two in this subsection. We read out the respective purports also. So the so the shloka goes something like this. It says, Yesham khalu mahayogi bharato jeshta shreshtha guna asid yenedam varsham bharatam iti vyapadi shanti. So it says, actually among these sons, Bharata Maharaj is the important one, important personality, and whatever this Bharat Desha is named with this personality called Bharata Varsha. So of Rishabhdev's 100 sons, the eldest named Bharata was a great and exalted devotee qualified with the best attributes in his honor. This planet has been known as Bharata Varsha. Okay. Yeah, that's the translation. Anyone wants to go ahead with the purport? Read the purport.
Yeah, Prabhuji, can I read, Prabhuji?
Please, Mataji, please, yeah.
Purport?
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah.
This planet known as Bharatavarsha is also called Punya Bhumi, the pious land. At the present moment, Bharata Bhumi or Bharatavarsha is the small piece of land extending from Himalaya mountains to Cape Comorin. Sometimes this peninsula is called Punya Bhumi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given special importance to the people of this island. Bharata Bhumi Haila Manushya Janma Yara Janma Sarthaka Kara Para Upakara. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatvarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all people. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 9.41. The inhabitants of this piece of land are very fortunate. They can purify their existence by accepting this Krishna consciousness movement and go outside Bharata Bhumi, India, and preach this cult to benefit the whole world. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Yeah, so here in the purport, Prabhupada mentions the importance of this Punya Bhumi. Actually, I have seen, I have heard a few lectures from our senior acharyas, where they say, it's a very minute observations if you note. I recently we have our in our Ram Pratishtha day. I was seeing a lot of devotees myself. It's not like I'm devotee, but I've seen a lot of devotees like Deepa Mataji or Himanshu Prabhu and other devotees who are from Zenith community. All apart from them, there is a big lot of people have turned around for this event, and first it started very devotionally only with bhajans and kirtans, and later modern beats with Ram and all started, and with modern dance steps and all everything started. So the power of this Punya Bhumi, unknowingly or knowingly also, there is a possibility that one, despite not being devotional, might have taken or uttered a holy name, and that is then with that kind of setup, there is every possibility that acharyas say. I mean, one lecture I have heard where they say that especially the citizens of India, even if they die, if they are not attaining moksha or going back home, back to Godhead, they would be taking birth in this same land to get an opportunity to again regain their past position. I repeat, the people who have taken birth in Bharata Khanda or Bharata Varsha, if they are not sincere in their devotional life, the Lord would be giving chance again to take birth in this land only, because apart from there is no hope. If you are taking, generally there is no hope in majority, that if you are taking birth in any other region apart from this Bharata Khanda, the probability of getting ourselves elevated spiritually is very rare. Very rare. there's a very good that few devotees like His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada who has gone to West and preached, and they are craving for coming back to India, and they are realizing now that how fortunate the Indians are. But we are in a situation that being in the same land, we are not knowing our fortune. So that's a different case. But here, the stress of Punya Bhumi, Bharata Varsha, is very much stressed here by Srila Prabhupada in his purport, saying the importance of this land. So I have seen, a couple of cases where I don't know how many of you believe in Nadi Jyotishyam and all. I've seen a couple of cases where when they have gone through Nadi Jyotishyam, there are devotees who said that in their past life in Kerala or in Mumbai, in Oriya, you were there at this juncture and you did this. So now you need to do this Shanti to be done. Shanti yajnas you need to do for curbing some things and all. So I have seen almost 4 to 5 cases like that while devotees have gone to this Nadi Jyotishyam, that they were born in the same Bharata Varsha. Okay, so that's the importance of this land. Despite you are not progressing spiritually, there is every possibility that majority of the people might take birth in this land itself, Lord giving opportunity to progress in spiritually if you have a desire. Of course, if you are having a strong desire that I don't want to take birth in this land itself, I wanted to go in US and I wanted to stay there, I wanted to enjoy and all. Of course, it doesn't mean that Lord will not fulfill, but there's every possibility. If you are sincerely desiring, or even if you do a little seva, not being devotion also, always this opportunity is given for you to take birth in this land called Punya Bhumi. Okay, so that's about the 9th sloka, and 10th sloka also talks about, following Bharata, there were 99 other sons. Among these were 9 elderly sons named Ushavarta, Ilavarta, Brahmavarta, Malaya, Ketu, Bhadrasena, Indrasprak, Vidarbha, and Kikata. 11 to 12 talks about again the sons and their names. In addition to these sons were Kavi, Havi, Antariksha, Prabuddha, Pipalayana, Avirhotra, Drumila, Chamasa, and Karbhajana. These were all very exalted and advanced devotees and authorized preachers of Srimad Bhagavatam. These devotees were glorified due to their strong devotion to Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, they were very exalted to satisfy the mind perfectly. I, Sukadev Goswami, shall hereafter describe the characteristics of these 9 devotees when I discuss the conversation between Narada and Vasudeva in the 11th canto. Okay, yeah. So now, by the way, there is a purport here. Might be no, there is no purport. Yeah. So yeah, again, this sloka is important in this subsection. Like Yaviyamakshara ekasitir Jayante yah Pitur Adeshakara Maha Shalina Maha Stotriya Yagna Shila Karma Vishuddha Brahmana Babudeva. The translation says, in addition to these 19 sons mentioned above, there were 81 younger ones, all born of Rishabhdeva and Jayanti. According to the order of their father, they become well-cultured, well-behaved, very pure in their activities, and expert in Vedic knowledge and the performance of Vedic rituals. Thus, they all become perfectly qualified Brahmanas. Yeah, Prabhuji and Mataji, is anyone interested in reading this purport?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, please.
Purport.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. From this verse, we have good information of how the castes are qualified according to the quality and worth. Rishabdeva, a king, was certainly a Kshatriya. He had 100 sons, and out of these, 10 were engaged in Kshatriya and ruled the planet. 9 sons became good preachers of Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahabhagavatas, and indicates this indicates that they were above the position of Brahmanas. The other 81 sons became highly qualified Brahmanas. These are some practical examples of how one can become fit into certain types of activity by qualification, not by birth. All the sons of Maharaj Rishabdeva were Kshatriyas. All the sons of Maharaja Rishabdeva were Kshatriyas by birth, but but by quality, some of them became Kshatriyas and some became Brahmanas. 9 became preachers of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavata Dharma Darshanaha, which means that they were above the categories of Kshatriya and Brahmanas.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhuji. So yeah, this reminds me of one incident where sorry, where there was a discussion happening between a ailing father who was bedridden, and 4 to 5 of his sons came to him. Then the father says to those 4 to 5 sons that you take Tellapur and Nalagandla. Second, you take Gachibowli and Kajagoda. And third son, he says Amirpet and Madhapur. And fourth son, he says, to fourth son, he says, you take Jubilee Hills and Banjara Hills. And the fifth son, he says, you take Uppal and LB Nagar. So the people who listens to this conversation, they understand, oh my God, how much I think they are talking about the properties there, how the rich they are and all like that they think. But finally, after the end of their conversation, father says that they are very rich, so they will be having a lot of clothes to wash. So basically, he was telling this washerman job. He was trying to assign this washerman jobs to the respective sons in that locality to see. So like that.
Super. It's super, bro.
So like that, and though it might be sounding as a joke, in reality, I have seen personally a lot of parents, especially our current generation or the earlier generation, they say kids to them, I mean, they tell kids, you go to US, you go to Australia, you go to UK and all. Right, it's a matter of how materialistic it sounds, how materialistic we are, and how materialistically we sound. The parents are craving for not actually love, just to show that in our social status, my son is in UK. I really don't know whether you can call it as love towards their. I don't say they don't have love, but that's how the society has become. They wanted their kids to go to US and UK and to see that they're working in big companies, they're earning very big fat amount, and they can boast of themselves. They wanted their not only sending to US and UK, they wanted their sons to become collectors and IPS officers, not to do social service mainly. It might be a part of it, but mainly their name would be at the top. Okay, my son is IPS officer. My daughter is IAS officer. So I sincerely feel sometimes that if they really have a genuine feeling that yes, he need to serve the society, serve the mankind through whatever the post he's getting, through God-given post, what he is getting, if he should sincerely serve. If the parents have that desire of sincerely serving, I think Krishna would have been merciful in granting that desire. But I think a lot of parents don't have. That's what I feel. So now that is at one stance going in Kali Yuga, but here Rishabdev is teaching us how we need to engage our kids in devotional service. Now, if we come to the real time picture also, we can carefully observe born devotees, especially even the devotees who in our own community. If you see devotees, you can clearly observe the difference in kids who are born devotees and the kids who are not born devotees. There is a lot of difference. So yes, of course, we are not that in a liberty of what Rishabdev is in that situation, but with whatever kind of environment we have, we need to see in what best way slowly we can bring our kids into devotion, despite they are not born devotees. So that's what we can correlate and see in whatever minor way we can't force with the situation we are in. We should not force our kids, but somewhere we need to draw a thin line to bring them. We have to make every effort to at least make them, though they might not be appearing devotional, they might not be being at some point of their time when they feel they at least at some point of their point in their life they might come in devotion. So at least that platform we can provide to them, if not forcing them. So that's what we need to learn from Lord Rishabhdev to ensure that kids are devotionally inclined and their priority is pure devotional service in this line. Okay, so that's what this section talks about. And the next section talks about, you know, Rishabhdev's qualities and activities followed by uh, followed by the Brahmana's instructions. Okay, so that's what is this section about. That is subsection 3. Here we mainly talked, as I said, Rishabhdev's qualities and Rishabhdev's activities. And this particular section contains only 2 shlokas, that is only 3 shlokas, that is 16, 17, 18. Sorry, it contains only 2 shlokas, that is 14 and 15. So here the shloka, main shloka among 14 and 15, I should say it is 14th shloka. It has a big purport as well. So this shloka says, Bhagavan Rishabha Samjna Atma Tantra Swayam Nitya Nivrittanardha Parampara Kevalanandanu Bhava Ishvara Eva Viparitavat Karmani Arabhamana Kale Nanu Gatam Dharmam Acharaneno Pashikshayanna Atad Vidam Sama Upashanto Maitra Karuniko Dharmartha Yasha Prajanandra Prajanananda Nu Nurta Vardhena Gruheshu Lokam Niyamayat. Since the shlokas are not in the proper, I mean, in our known format, it is very difficult to utter. Anyway, the translation goes something like this. Being an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rishabhdev was fully independent because his form was spiritual, eternal, and full of transcendental bliss. He eternally had nothing to do with the 4 principles of material misery: birth, death, old age, and disease. Nor was he materially attached. He was always equipoised and he saw everyone on the same level. He was unhappy to see others unhappy. He was the well-wisher of all living entities, although he was perfect personality, the supreme lord and controller of all. He nonetheless acted as if he were an ordinary conditioned soul. Therefore, he strictly followed the principles of Varnashrama Dharma and acted accordingly in due course of time. The principles of Varnashrama Dharma had become neglected. Therefore, through his personal characteristics and behavior, he taught the ignorant public how to perform duties within the Varnashrama Dharma. In this way, he regulated the general populace in household life, enabling them to develop religion and economic well-being and to attain reputations, sons and daughters, material pleasures, and finally eternal life. By his instructions, he showed how people could remain householders and at the same time become perfect by following the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Yeah. So, are there any? Okay. So, yeah, anyone wanted to read the purport?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Please, Mataji, please, yeah.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Varnashrama Dharma is meant for imperfect, conditioned souls. It trains them to become spiritually advanced in order to return home back to Godhead. A civilization that does not know the highest aim of life is no better than an animal society. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. A human society is meant for elevation to spiritual knowledge so that all of the people can be freed from the clutches of birth, death, old age, and disease. The Varnashrama Dharma enables human society to become perfectly fit for getting out of the clutches of Maya, and by following the regulative principles of Varnashrama Dharma, one can become successful. In this regard, see Bhagavad Gita 3.21 to 24. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what the stress is mainly made. So by his instructions, he showed how people could remain householders and at the same time become perfect by following the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Now, the question to everyone, the last statement, what he said, he showed how people could remain householders and at the same time become perfect by following the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Question is, what is the similar shloka reflecting this in Bhagavad Gita? Whatever the statement I mentioned, what is the similar shloka? It is very popular shloka which is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Can anyone say that shloka? By his instructions, he showed how people would remain householders and at the same time become perfect by following the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Not exactly, but anyone remember the shloka? I think it is very popular. You can say it.
What? Yadyad acharashreshtas?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yadyad acharasi shreshtas tattad evatarodana sayat pramanam kurite lokas tadanu vartate. That is the shloka. Okay. So, similarly, the next sloka also shows the same thing. Same content is mentioned. Yad yach chirsanya charitam tad anuvartate loka. That is the 15th sloka of the same lesson. Whatever action is performed by a great man, common man follow. So you can remember, it's not only, if anyone asks, apart from Bhagavad Gita, where else it is mentioned, then you can quote this shloka, Canto 5, 4th chapter and 15th shloka. Yad Chirshanya Charitam Tad Anuvartate Loka. Whatever action is performed by a great man, common man follow. A similar verse is also found in Bhagavad Gita 3.21. That's what Lilananda Prabhu has mentioned. It is essential for human society to have a section of men perfectly trained as qualified Brahmanas according to the instructions of Vedic knowledge. Those below the Brahmanical qualifications, that is administrators, merchants and workers, should take instructions from those ideal people who are considered to be intellectuals. In this way, everyone can be elevated to the highest transcendental position and be freed from material attachment. The material world is described by Lord Krishna himself as Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam, a temporary place of misery. No one can stay here even if he makes a compromise with misery. One has to give up this body and accept another, which may not even be a human body. As soon as one gets material body, he becomes Dehabhrit or Dehi. In other words, he is subjected to all the material conditions. The leaders of society must be so ideal that by following them, one can be relieved from the clutches of material existence. So actually, my Shiksha Guru in Stockholm, Tapas Prabhu, has sent a message to me yesterday. Actually, he was looking for one priest, since Tapas Prabhu and his good wife Lajjavati Mataji, they were getting old and they were facing some disease. I mean, their old age related problems they are facing. So they have reached out to me to see if I can help in having some pujaris in the temple. Right, he the temple president in Stockholm. He was looking for some help. If some pujaris can come here to take care of the Gauranitai there in the temple, and he offered free accommodation. He offered free prasadam for the devotee who is going to take care of the deities there. Only these two he could offer, but not other job apart from doing the daily deity services. If the devotees are going there, he's not in a situation to give any other job or promise any other job or additional income for the devotees or priests who are going from India. But he was looking only these two things he could offer, that is prasadam and the accommodation. And yesterday he sent out a message to me talking about the same thing, the nature of this material world. He said, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. How is life? Spiritually progressive? Question mark. Actually, there is so much talk about. Actually, there is so much talk of material progression, but actually, it does not exist, as all of it will be finished by time. However, spiritual progress goes on forever. Wonderful, is it not? I have been allowed to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission for 40 plus years. And be sure that for devotees like me getting old and closer to death, it brings me happiness that a new generation of devotees like you will carry on the mission. Thank you very much again for the book you gave me in Puri. Please forgive my ability to reciprocate at that point, which was caused by a reduced health situation, as I am always lower in energy in India, as it is another environment so packed with people. In any case, my wife asked you about helping to find pujaris here. However, without discussing with me first. Namely, it is difficult to get visa these days, except if you get a job here and job visa. So be aware of that. So, yeah, your servant, Tapas Das. So that's the message what he has given, quoting the nature of this world, Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. And people might be, general populace might be liking very much positive statements from the devotional service, like unknowingly also, if you are chanting holy name, you would be delivered. The personalities like Putana attained or went back home, back to Godhead, despite trying to kill the Lord himself. So these are very positive statements, or I hope more hope-giving statements, what we see in a lot of Bhagavatam stories or Bhagavad Gita, or what are the pastimes Lord has performed. But they forget the underlying principle or the basic platform of spiritual life, that it is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Always, Lilananda Prabhu says, we have a process, we have an environment, we have a goal. But being in India, we have a process, we have an environment. The only problem is people have forgotten the goal, and more sorrowful situation or more embarrassing situation is they even don't want to know the goal of life. They even don't want to know the goal of life. They are happy in whatever the spiritual practices they are doing. Okay, singing bhajan. I will ensure my girl is learning Bharatnatyam. She will learn one bhajan. That's it. Okay. Yeah, it's good to do that, but we can't stop from where we are. I mean, we should always aim for progression. When always I think of my dad in this, he is never happy with the progression what he done. I mean, he got married without even completing 12th class. And after 12th class, after 12th class, he was not having, he went to Air Force, and he was not happy with the progress what he, without having a proper education, he got married and all, was not happy. And he did, after we were born, he completed his BA English Literature. He completed LLB, Bachelor of Law, and he completed Diploma of Mechanical Engineer for a MiG-23 plane. And that's what he did after we were born. And after we were graduated, he completed MA English Literature, he completed Master of Law, and then he completed PhD in Criminal Psychology. I mean, we can't stop where we are. Spiritual life is also like that. We might be taking baby steps initially when we are, and sometimes we are very overwhelmed. How good is spiritual life? But we need always, we should not stop, or we should not, how will you feel? Your kids say, I mean, earlier, in the state syllabus, 10th class is a public exam. But earlier in the state syllabus, 7th class was a public exam. Not in the central syllabus, but in the state syllabus, 7th class was a public exam. If your kids say, okay, 10th class I did, and I think I'm fine with it, you will not allow, right? You will ask him to do 8th class, 9th class, 10th class, 11th class, 12th class, degree. Probably from degree, again, you can't stop from there, degree. Then you need to do a job. Then you need to go. So there is a similar to in material life, there is a progression. Similarly, in spiritual life also, there is a progression. A lot of people miss that point. They are happy with what are the services they do, or whatever the minimum services they do. So we should always aim for progressing in spiritual life, because this is eternal. That's what even my Shiksha Guru Tapas Prabhu was also mentioning the same point. Material life is a temporary one. Spiritual life is a permanent one. And in numerous sessions, Lilananda Prabhu has also said the same point, that you don't want to go ahead with the primary education again, birth after birth. So that's what the stress we are making. We need to understand the underlying platform that this is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam, and we need to somehow, it's our responsibility for our kids to go towards, if not in a express space, somehow we need to see if we can engage them positively, not with a aversion mind. So it's a very balancing act we need to do as a parents if they are not born devotees. Yeah. Now coming to the next section. Next section is about fourth section. Fourth section is about fourth section is about last but one section. Rishabdev followed the instructions of Brahmanas. And we need to understand the importance of Brahmanas. So he followed the instructions of Brahmanas, although expert himself. He performed worship through sacrifices, and his citizens were always satisfied. Always satisfied. So here he was following Brahmanas and he was doing perfect sacrifices. These are the two things what he did from 16 to 18th slokas. Among, I think, in this 18th sloka is more important, I should say. So yeah, despite that, we'll go ahead with the translation of 16th sloka, which talks about 1 minute. Is it? No. No, I think it is 17th sloka. Yeah. Yeah, I am right. Yeah. So here, 16th sloka, it reads. Yeah. So here, 16th sloka, translation is: although Lord Rishabha knew everything about the confidential Vedic knowledge, which includes information about all types of occupational duties, he still maintained himself as a Kshatriya and followed the instructions of the Brahmanas as they are related to mind control, sense control, tolerance, and so forth. Thus, he ruled the people according to the system of Varnashrama Dharma, which enjoins the Brahmanas instruct the Kshatriyas, and the Kshatriyas administered to the state through the Vaishyas and Shudras. Yeah. Any devotee wanted to read this purport?
I'll read, Prabhuji.
Please, Mataji. Please, yeah.
Although Rishabdeva knew all the Vedic instructions perfectly well, he nonetheless followed the instructions of the Brahmanas in order to perfectly maintain the social order. The Brahmanas would give advice according to the Shastras, and all the other castes would follow. The word Brahma means perfect knowledge of all activities, and this knowledge is very confidential, described in the Vedic literatures. Men trained perfectly as Brahmanas should know all Vedic literature, and the benefit derived from this literature should be distributed to the general populace. The general populace should follow the perfect Brahmana. In this way, one can learn how to control the mind and senses and thus gradually advance in spiritual perfection. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So, here, yeah, the 17th shloka talks about Lord Rishabdev performed all kinds of sacrifices 100 times according to the instructions of Vedic literature. Thus, he satisfied Lord Vishnu in every respect. To the all rituals were he satisfied Lord Vishnu in every respect. All the rituals were enriched by the first class ingredients. They were executed in holy places according to the proper time by priests who were all young and faithful. In this way, Lord Vishnu was worshipped and the prasada was offered to all the demigods. Thus, the functions and the festivals were all successful. Yeah. Yeah, Prabhuji and Mataji, anyone wanted to read the purport? Okay.
I'll read, Prabhuji.
No, Mother. I think that's okay, Mother. I will read the purport, Mother. Yeah. It is said, Kaumara acharet pragnu dharman bhagavatam iha. Bhagavatam 7.6.1. A ritual should be performed by young men, even boys, at a tender age. In order for the ritual to be performed successfully, from childhood, people should be trained in Vedic culture, especially in devotional service. In this way, one can perfect one's life. A Vaishnava does not disrespect the demigods, but on the other hand, he is not so foolish that he accepts each and every demigod as the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is master of all demigods. Therefore, the demigods are his servants. The Vaishnava accepts them as the servants of the Supreme Lord and he worships them directly. In the Brahma Samhita, the important demigods, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and even the incarnations and expansions of Lord Krishna, like Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and all other Vishnu Tattvas, as well as the Shakti Tattvas like Durga Devi, are all worshipped by the process of worshipping Govinda. With the words Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. A Vaishnava worships the demigods in the relation to Govinda, not independently. Vaishnavas are not so foolish that they consider demigods independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ekale Ishvara Krishna Arasabha Bhritya. The Supreme Master is Krishna and all others are his servants. So that's what he says here. I think we were in. Yeah. So yeah, that's what he talks about. The Varnashrama Dharma as well, and this. So he talks about the importance of the rituals, what we do, and we need to tune our family members also to do rituals or austerity. I mean, rituals may not only sound having a yagna kund and doing it. That's the image what we get when we hear the term of ritual. We can start, for our family, especially with the kids, we can tell them to do little austerity to attain something. Sometimes we do that, right? For example, if you are doing this homework successfully, I will give this vada, or I will do this. I will give this item or this prasadam. I will give of your interest. So that austerity from childhood is very important. Doing a austerity like, okay, I'm able to control for some time, and after I achieve this, I'm getting it. It might start from that level. So we need to understand the importance of inculcating the culture of that ritual or austerity to bring in the kids. So already we do that, but we need to slowly divert that towards the devotional service also, like involving them in singing bhajans or involving them in playing mridang or kartal or something like that. So we can do that. So that's what the Prabhupada has mentioned, that ritual should be performed by young men, even boys, at a tender age. We need to mention that a tender age in order for the ritual to be performed successfully. So from childhood itself, people should be trained in Vedic culture. So depending on the time, place, and circumstances, we need to see that our next generations are tuned enough to do this. So no one likes to possess anything that is like willow the wisp or a flower in the sky. For everyone knows very well that such things don't exist. When Lord Rishabhdev ruled this planet of Bharatavarsha, even common man did not want to ask for anything at any time or by any means. No one ever asked for a willow the wisp. In other words, everyone was completely satisfied, and therefore there was no chance of anyone's asking for anything. The people were absorbed in great affection for the king. Since this affection was always expanding, they were not inclined to ask for anything. So the purport says, in Bengal, the word Godha Dimba is used, which means the egg of a horse. Since horse never lays an egg, the word Godha Dimba actually has no meaning. In Sanskrit also, there is a word Kha Pushpa, which means the flower in the sky. No flower grows in the sky. Therefore, no one is interested in asking for Kha Pushpa or Godha Dimba. During the reign of Maharaja Rishabhdev, people were so well equipped that they didn't want to ask for anything. They were immensely supplied with necessities of life due to King Rishabhdev's good environment. Consequently, everyone felt full satisfaction and did not want anything. This is the perfection of government. If the citizens are unhappy due to bad government, the heads of governments are condemned. During these democratic days, monarchy is disliked by the people, but here is an example of how an emperor of the whole world kept all the citizens fully satisfied by supplying the necessities of life and following the Vedic principles. Thus, everyone was happy during the reign of Maharaja Rishabdev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's what was mentioned in this section. I think there is, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so here, yeah, anyway, can anyone talk about any shloka? Like, what's a shloka or a statement confirming the point that demigods are not independent of Supreme Personality of Godhead? Can anyone guess? This is the tough question among all the lot, I believe.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji, please, Prabhuji.
Mayadhyakshena prakrita svyocheta satcharacharam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita,
Hmm.
only by my order all the Prakriti is being controlled. Prakriti is rather than not done. So not
Wow. Super, Prabhuji. Wonderful, Prabhuji. Haribol, Prabhu. 3 Haribols to you, Prabhu. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Yeah, perfect, Prabhu. That's the shloka or statement confirming the point that demigods are not independent of Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the stress even Srila Prabhupada was mentioning. It's not that we are disrespecting the demigods, but we need to understand that they are not independent of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Praveen Prabhu has confirmed with a full grace. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Okay, so that's what is being mentioned in this section of, following the Brahmanas and perfect sacrifices, what we need to do, and we need to have a satisfied citizens is needed. So that's the stress has been given for in this particular subsection 4. So Rishabdeva knew that he's a confidential. Rishabdeva knew the confidential Vedic knowledge which contains all the dharmas. Yet, as a Kshatriya, he followed the Brahmanas. So he ruled the people according to the system of Varnashrama Dharma, which enjoins that the Brahmanas instruct the Kshatriyas and Kshatriyas administers the state through Vaishyas and Shudras. So that's what the importance of Brahmanas he has mentioned. And similarly, the perfect sacrifices. He satisfied Lord Vishnu by performing sacrifices according to the Vedic injunctions with proper ingredients at proper place and time and with youthful, faithful priests. So satisfied citizens, when Lord Rishabhadev ruled, even common men did not seek false objects by asking from others. They were completely satisfied and absorbed in great affection for the king. At that time, Prabhuji and Mataji, that citizens, the goal was very clear and their desires were also aligned with the goal and they got cleared. But now, if you take a similar analogy with the Kali Yuga, the desires of people are very, very psychic in nature. I mean, and they are not aligned with the goal. When this I observed recently, even in front of our community also, we got just 1 week or 2 weeks back, we got a Shivas. It's not our Lord Shiva. It is CHIVAS. It is a brand name of one liquor, Shivas. It is a coincidence that it is aligned with Lord Shiva. So one liquor shop has been opened right in front of our community, our service road, Shiva's liquor shop. So our systems, so citizens are liking. Citizens are desiring to open a liquor shop and our government is fulfilling by opening the liquor shop. But are they aligned with the goal? No, they are not aligned with the goal. So that's what the stress Srila Prabhupada was making, to align our goals, our process or environment as per our goals. And that's the stress has been made that people have forgotten the goal. So that's the same thing he's been stressed out. So when Lord Rishabdeva ruled, even common man did not seek false objects. We need to understand they did not seek false objects by asking from others. They were completely satisfied and absorbed in great affection for the king. So that's what the citizens were satisfied with. So that's the fourth section. And the last section is about Rishabhdev's sons. Rishabhdev's sons and the instructions of Rishabhdev. So instruction to his sons were given by Rishabhdev. So here is the 19th shloka, and the last shloka, wherein the translation is, once while touring the world, Lord Rishabhdev, the Supreme Lord, reaches a place known as Brahmavarta. There was a great conference of learned Brahmanas at that place, and all the king's sons attentively heard the instructions of Brahmanas there. And at that assembly, within the hearing of the citizens, Rishabhdev instructed his sons. Although they were already very well behaved, devoted, and qualified, he instructed them so that in the future they could rule the world very perfectly. Thus he spoke as follows. Yeah. Does anyone wanted to read the purport? I know it's not a very short one. Anyone can read the purport, please?
I will read, Prabhuji.
Please, Mother. Please, Mataji.
Yeah. The instructions of Lord Rishabhdeva to his sons are very valuable. He all wants to live peacefully within this world, which is full of miseries. In the next chapter, Lord Rishabhdeva gives his sons these valuable instructions.
Yes. So thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the 5th canto, 4th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Characteristics of Rishabhdev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, actually next chapter is very important. That is, the teachings of Rishabhdev to his sons at this place called Brahmavarta. So the question is, what is the significance of location of Brahmavarta? Can anyone guess? What is the significance of Brahmavarta? Where is this place? What is this place? What is the significance of it? Can anyone say? I think most of us might have heard Naimisharanya. Similarly, Brahmavarta. What is the significance of this place? Anything, that's okay. Has anyone heard this term Brahmavarta before this sloka?
No, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Can anyone guess Brahmavarta? Anyway, so Brahmavarta is the land created by the gods and lying between the divine rivers called Saraswati and Drishadvati. These are the two rivers. The land between these two divine rivers, Saraswati and Drishadvati, is called Brahmavarta. So this is the region of Brahman. So the conduct handed down from the generation to generation among the social classes and the intermediate classes of that land is called the conduct of good people. So the place, this Brahmavarta, is the place where lying between these two rivers, and it is the place which is in mode of goodness. So that's why it is called Brahmavarta. Yeah. So here we end the session, and the next chapter is really going to be very important, where it is about the teachings of Rishabhdev to his sons. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it from my end, Prabhuji and Matajis. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity. Yeah. Let me know if anyone has any reflections or any thought process or any questions which you feel I can answer. Let me know, Prabhuji and Matajis. I think most of the devotees have gone to Indrajamna Swami Maharaj session, I believe, at other part of the city. Yeah, Prabhuji and Matajis, anyone has any questions or reflections?
No, Prabhuji, thank you so much for taking the session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity, though it was not planned, but somehow I was actually looking forward for this session to be taken, and somehow I was about to ask if I can take this session, because next week I have a session in some other place. So
Okay.
I wanted this to ask to you itself, but luckily you only first came to me. Thank you. Thank you very much,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah,
Thank you for your enthusiastic class.
Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
I'll end the
Hare
session
Krishna.
here.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.